You know how much money you made last month. You can probably even tell me what you bill, but if I ask you what percentage of that cash is already spoken for before you pay yourself or set aside profit, you'd give me that deer in the headlights look, wouldn't you? Most contractors are driving their business blind, wondering why the bank account empties faster than a cold beer on a July job site. Today, I'm showing you how to calculate your current allocation percentages, the single most important diagnostic tool in Profit First for construction. Think of it as your financial x ray. You can't fix what you can't see. Here's the deal: original Profit First jump straight into comparing your mess against some ideal target percentages. That's like handing blueprints to your crew before you've surveyed the foundation. Feels productive, but it's backwards. PFCC deliberately flips this sequence. We start with awareness first, calculating where your cash actually goes today. Then worry about targets once you've got allocation discipline locked in. Why does this matter for construction? Because your business has costs that generic systems completely miss. Job-specific permits and bonds, short-term equipment rentals tied to projects, that complex dance of labor burden that splits between job costs and overhead, field supervision that spans 3 projects versus 1 dedicated super. Your books should read like blueprints, clear enough that anyone could understand where the money flows. But most contractors are reading fantasy novels written by their accountant, not cash reality. All right, let's get our definition straight, because words matter when your livelihood's on the line. Revenue means cash that actually hit your bank account, not invoices you sent, not promises from owners, cold hard deposits you can spend on payroll. We're talking bank reality, not accounts receivable fantasy. Keep loan proceeds and owner contributions out. They aren't operating revenue. JobEx, job expenses, is where PFCC gets smart about construction. This isn't just subs and materials. We're talking about your construction-specific cost surrogate. All subcontractors and materials, obviously. Job permits and bonds someone's got to pay for. Short-term equipment rentals when you need that excavator for 3 days. Proportional field labor and employer burden tied directly to production. Here's the key test. Does this expense disappear when the job ends? If yes, it's JobEx. If it sticks around like overhead, it's not. Now OpEx, operating expenses. Start with your administrative overhead, then do some honest math. Subtract non-cash depreciation and amortization. Your truck didn't write a check. Subtract owner draws and tax payments. Those come from profit, not operations. Add back cash principal payments on notes and equipment financing. Why? Because PFCC uses a cash lens. Your bank account doesn't care about accounting entries, only money that actually moved. This cash-adjusted OpEx shows what your operations truly consume each period to keep the lights on. Here's where the magic happens. Once you subtract JobEx and OpEx from revenue, whatever's left is your residual revenue. PFCC calls this EOT, profit, owner's compensation, and tax, because these 3 draw from the same pool. Think of it like water pressure in your job site hoses. Revenue is the incoming water. JobEx and OpEx are all the leaks and taps along the way. What's left at the end determines whether you've got enough pressure to run your profit, pay yourself, and cover Uncle Sam. But here's the real power tool, cash commitment base. This is JobEx plus OpEx as a percentage of revenue. It tells you exactly what percentage of every collected dollar is already spoken for before you even think about profit or paying yourself. If your cash commitment base is 88%, only 12% remains for pot. That's tighter than bark on a tree. And that 12% has to fund 3 things: profit, owner pay, and tax. Good luck making that work. All right, enough theory. Let's do the math right quick, because this is simpler than most folks make it. Step 1. Pick your analysis window. Could be last quarter, could be last year. Doesn't matter as long as you're consistent and using cash-based numbers. Step 2. Sum your cash collected revenue. Bank deposits from operations only. No funny money, no wishful thinking. Step 3. Add up your JobEx using PFCC's construction definitions. Every dollar that went out the door for a specific job, subs, materials, job permits, dedicated supervision with its burden. Step 4. Compute your cash-adjusted OpEx. Start with operating expenses. Subtract non-cash stuff and owner draws. Add back cash note principal. Step 5. Calculate residual revenue. Revenue minus JobEx minus OpEx. Whatever is left is your pot pool. Step 6. Convert everything to percentages. JobEx percentage equals JobEx divided by revenue. OpEx percentage equals OpEx divided by revenue. Cash commitment base percentage equals JobEx percentage plus OpEx percentage. Residual revenue percentage equals 100% minus cash commitment base percentage. Let me show you real numbers so this lands. Say you collected $2 million in revenue last year. Your JobEx, subs, materials, job permits, dedicated supervision came to $1.2 million. Your cash adjusted OpEx, overhead, and note principal hit $520,000. Do the math. Cash commitment base equals $1.72 million. Residual revenue, POT, $280,000. And percentages, JobEx 60%, OpEx 26%, commitment base 86%, pot 14%. What's this tell you? 86 cents of every collected dollar is already spoken for by jobs and overhead. Only 14 cents remains to fund profit, owner compensation, and tax. That's a tight margin. Real tight, tighter than a new boot. Your cash commitment base is your North Star. It's the foundation inspection that tells you whether you're building on solid ground or quicksand. If your commitment base is too high and pot is too low, you've got 3 clear levers. Lever 1, reduce JobEx, better subcontractor buyouts, tighter scheduling, improved field productivity. Every point you shave off JobEx drops straight to your pot pool. Lever 2, reduce OpEx, right-size your overhead. That administrative position you're afraid to cut, if it's not generating revenue or protecting quality, it's dead weight. Multi-project supervision that's really just watching. Cut it. Baseline benefits that exceed industry norms. Adjust them. Lever 3. Raise your price. Embed your target allocations into every bid using PFCC's Allocation Calibrated Estimating Sheet. Jobs should self-fund from day one, not rob Peter to pay Paul. And if none of these levers work, decline unviable jobs. You cannot bid your way out of a structural problem. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no to work that doesn't meet your requirements. Now here's where PFCC differs from generic advice. We emphasize awareness before targets. Don't chase some ideal percentage you read in a book until your allocation discipline is solid and your JobEx versus OpEx definitions are locked down tight. First, get honest about where you are. Then decide where you want to go. Knowing your caps is helpful. Acting on them is everything. First, embed allocations in your estimating. Every bid should include your target JobEx percentage, OpEx percentage, and pot percentage baked right into the numbers. PFCC's Allocation Calibrated Estimating Sheet does exactly this. Jobs fund themselves from the start instead of starving your other accounts. Second, protect your allocation discipline. Here's the non-negotiable rule. Allocate revenue to buckets before paying bills. Not after. Not when you get around to it. Before. Use a weekly or biweekly rhythm that matches your payroll timing. Monthly is too slow for construction's variable cash flow. You need allocation discipline that moves as fast as your job site does. And here's the critical piece most folks miss. Record allocation entries at the time you transfer money. Don't wait until month end when your bookkeeper's trying to reconcile. Mark the transfer as allocation to JobEx or allocation to OpEx right then. This avoids double counting confusion and keeps your signal clean. This is where Profit First's separate bank accounts become your construction crank, the tool that does the heavy lifting. You physically move cash into different accounts labeled JobEx, OpEx, profit, owner's comp, and tax. Your bank balance becomes your decision lens. If the OpEx account's running low, you know immediately. You've got an overhead problem, not a cash flow mystery. Third, never use overdrafts to mask shortfalls. If a bucket runs short, reallocate deliberately and adjust spending. Overdrafts hide systemic problems and add friction costs that make a bad situation worse. That's like painting over foundation cracks. Looks better for a minute, then the whole thing collapses. Let me save you some grief by pointing out the potholes most contractors drive straight into. Mistake 1, treating P&L OpEx as cash OpEx. Your profit and loss statement includes depreciation, amortization, and other accounting fairy dust. PFCC requires you to strip that out, subtract owner draws and taxes, then add back cash note principal. Skip this step, and your percentages will be as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Mistake 2, sticking job-specific costs in OpEx. Job permits, bonds, and equipment rentals belong in JobEx, period. They disappear when the job ends. That makes them job costs, not overhead. Misclassify this stuff and your numbers lie to you. Mistake 3, ignoring labor nuance. Baseline benefits go to OpEx. Job-tied employer burden goes to JobEx. Multi-project supervision stays in OpEx even if it feels field-related. Get this wrong, and your JobEx percentages become fiction. Mistake 4, Paying bills before allocating. This starves your system and masks whether your allocations actually work. You need to see the truth. Does this allocation rhythm protect your buckets? Or are you just moving money around hoping for the best? Mistake 5. Monthly allocation cadence. Too slow for construction. Your cash flow swings wildly week to week. Weekly or biweekly allocation keeps your caps meaningful and actionable when reality changes faster than your accounting can track it. Here's what changes when you calculate and act on your caps. You stop guessing where your money goes. You stop hoping there's enough left for profit. You stop panicking when payroll's due because you can see 3 weeks ahead whether your OpEx bucket's healthy or starving. You start making decisions based on cash reality, not accounting fantasy. When a new job comes in, you don't just look at gross margin. You ask, will this job's JobEx and OpEx load fit our current commitment base, or will it push us over the edge? You start pricing with intention. Your bids aren't guesses seasoned with hope. They're cash commitments backed by real percentages that you've tested and trust. And here's the real magic. You start sleeping better because you're not lying awake at 2 a.m. wondering if there's enough cash to cover Friday's payroll. You already know. Your buckets tell you the truth every single week. Look, I get it. This stuff feels like extra work when you're reading estimates, job site problems, and owner complaints. But here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. You can't build a sustainable construction business on hope and hustle alone. You need a system. And PFCC's current allocation percentages are the foundation of that system. If you want the full blueprint, every tool, every worksheet, every step-by-step process, grab the book Profit First for Commercial Construction on Amazon. It's the only system built specifically for contractors dealing with JobEx versus OpEx reality. And if you're serious about implementing this in your business and want someone who's done it hundreds of times to walk you through it, head to ProfitFirstConstruction.com, schedule a call with our team. We specialize in helping contractors stop the cash bleed and start building wealth. Hit subscribe if you want more straight talk on construction cash flow. No fluff, no theory, just practical systems that work in the dirt. And remember, you can't manage what you can't measure. But once you measure it, you can fix it. Now calculate your caps. Your future self will thank you.